I've been watching some videos here on YouTube, and there's some van lifers out there that are raising heck about the executive order. I haven't read the executive order. I don't know if it's true. I'm sure parts of it are on camping on public lands, living on public lands in the cities, tent living in cities, and things of that nature. And from what little I know about it, is they're going after the cities, and the federal government's telling the cities to clean themselves up and take care of the homeless problem. There's been tons of money, and they're bringing it into the nomadic van lifers. And part of that should be true, because a lot of the nomadics, as they call themselves, are coming out into the public lands, and they're not abiding by the public land rules because they're owners of that land and they have a right. Well, they put the rules in place. 14-day stays, most of them. Pack it in, pack it out. Take care of your trash. Be responsible. Don't tread on the vegetation. Take care of the lands. But so many people go out there and they stay for months on end thinking that they're beating the man. If you just moved on to the next locations of your 14-day stays, if you picked up your trash and left the sites clean, if you don't have toilet facilities inside of your RV, get rid of your trash correctly, burying it deeply. I think it's a foot, 6-8 inches. I packaged mine, double packaged it. And I'm in Arizona, and there's a lot of what they call transfer stations. But these people won't pay the transfer stations to dump their trash. Oh, by God forbid they have to spend a dime. You're creating your own mess. I lived in my cargo trailer for years. I took my trash to the transfer stations. I picked up after myself. The only problems that I had was when I first started and I didn't know all the rules and I was learning, and that was in Prescott City, Arizona. Prescott, Arizona. Prescott has a forest within the forest. It's the Yavapai National Forest. And then it goes to the Prescott National Forest, which is inside of Prescott. And Prescott's rules are different than the Yavapai National Forest rules. In Prescott limits inside the city, you've got 7-day stays. You don't have 14-day stays. You can stay 14 days if you stay inside their park system and you reserve a spot, which makes it really convenient because you have water and trash facilities and outdoor commode toilet buildings, whatever. And if you have your forever pass, or if you're a disabled veteran like myself, you get it at half price. Where else are you going to stay at the time? It was $18 for normals and $9 for myself a night. Where else are you going to stay for $9 a night? You had trash, you had water. It was beautiful. You had a nice campsite with a picnic table and a fire ring. Abide by the rules. They're not coming out to the deserts and they're going to round you up in buses, like you're saying, and take you to FEMA camps. If you abide by the rules, you won't have troubles. Arizona's inundated with nomads that live full-time in their RVs. We have a huge population of nomadic people that come over, and we call them snowbirds because they come from the north during the winter. And Arizona's economy is largely supported by the RVing or camping community. East Coast is different. You don't have as many public lands. But quite honestly, I want to see the forest cleaned up. I want to see people abide by the rules. It's easy to use your Camp Indian apps. Keep in your phone book or your phone pages when you showed up to a campsite, when you left a campsite, and if you can show the ranger when you got there and when you left, you won't have any problems. I came up here when I first moved to the area I came to, and I bought 2 acres. I bought 2 acres in Coconino County. I could get a permit to camp on my own 2 acres for 120 days a year with a permit. There's 3 national forests by my property in Coconino County. There's the Yavapai, the Kaibab, and the Coconino National Forest, and they're all within a stone's throw. So I could stay 120 days on my property, then I could drive down the street and go to the Kaibab National Forest and spend 14 days, and then I could drive 12 miles to the Yavapai National Forest and stay 14 days. And then from there, I could drive over to the Coconino National Forest, which was 15, 20 miles, and stay 14 days. And then there's BLM land that you can go stay 14 days within each of the areas. And there's Arizona State Trust lands where you can get a permit to camp online. It's $15 or something, plus a little more for change. But that only gives you 10 days of camping. Unless, of course, you have an ATV with the sticker that allows you to be off-road. And if you're out off-roading on your motorcycle, you can camp. And you don't really have stay limits as long as you're out motorcycling or dirt biking or four-wheeling or such, as long as it's permitted and tagged on the license and you're doing that activity. It's part of your DMV fees and you get to go. I stayed at the casino parking lot outside of Flagstaff. There was no stay limits there as long as you participated. You get a club card and you showed the casino that you were actually gambling or eating inside their restaurant, and you weren't making a mess out in the parking lot. I used to do that in Parker at the Blue Water Casino. The Blue Water Casino would give you a 7-day pass to dry camp. It was awesome. They had trash. They had pretty good food. The Indian food in Twin Arrows was awesome. The reservation Indian tribe of outside of Flagstaff, the food and the service was awesome. But back to Blue Water Casino in Parker. In Parker, as long as you showed that you were participating with the casino, it would issue you a new 7-day pass. It was being abused, so now they're charging $25 a night. Bingo. There was talk of the long-term visitor access areas of raising the prices. They went from $180, they may have gone $190, something like that, but there was talk at $600 for the 6-month stay. Where else are you going to stay? Or if you go to the LTVAs, long-term visitor access, and you don't have to move around, there's trash service, there's RV sewer dump service, there's water, trash, there's everything there, and you don't have to move around. You bought yourself a license for 6 months. Where else are you going to stay for $100 a month? Play by the rules. Pick up after yourself. Enjoy the stay.